Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Palast here. So nice to see you. I have a great story for you today, and it's going to be another close read. Remember, a close read, we're going to read the story, we're going to think about the story, we're going to talk about the story, and then we're going to read some questions. And when we read questions, we're going to go back into the text to find the answers and to justify and prove our answers. Okay? I'm ready. I got my shirt on, ready for some good learning. All right, I hope you are too. So, listening ears on, turned all the way up, thinking caps on. I think we're ready. So, the name of this is called Running Hot and Cold. And this is nonfiction, which means it's all true and accurate. All right, paragraph 1. How hot is hot? One of the hottest places on Earth is Death Valley in California. The highest temperature ever recorded was 201 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that's hot. In the summer, it's often more than 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. And to think about it, here in Middletown, if it's, 90 degrees, it's really hot for us. So Death Valley averages 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are on record for 201. So that's really, really hot. That's almost like an oven, like you're cooking food. All right, paragraph 2. Death Valley sits 282 feet below sea level, and it's surrounded by mountains. The mountains stop almost all rain and clouds from getting to the valley. This lack of rain and clouds causes Death Valley to be very dry and sunny. Also, the air is heavier because more air is pressing down on it, heating it up. Okay, paragraph 3. Now we're going the other direction. Let's talk about cold. How cold is cold? The coldest place on Earth is the continent of Antarctica. The lowest temperature ever recorded there was negative 129 degrees Fahrenheit. Because Antarctica is located at the bottom of Earth, it gets very little sunlight. In fact, for 6 months, there is complete darkness. Without sunlight, the ground doesn't have any warmth to soak up. But even when the sun shines, it stays very cold because most of the continent is solid rock covered by ice. The sun can't warm it. And just so you know about cold, boys and girls, if it's 32 degrees, water will freeze. So like in New York, if you put water in a cup and it's 32 degrees or less, it would turn to ice. Now they're saying Antarctica, the lowest temperature recorded is negative 129. So it's so cold. All right, last paragraph. Because it's so cold on Antarctica, very few animals or plants live there. Antarctica is hard to reach. It doesn't have a lot of food or building materials either. Therefore, although scientists may spend months there, people do not make their permanent homes in Antarctica. So this was only 4 paragraphs, boys and girls. So you really want to take your extra time looking back at the story, really understanding it, and finding your answers. As I said, when you're taking a state test, some passages are going to be really long, and you want to take your time, trying to figure out the most important information, but some will be short like this, but packed with information. So now let's look at the questions and try to see what they want us to pull out of this passage. All right, question number 1. Why is Death Valley so dry and sunny? All right, we're going to do just a prediction. So I'm going to read you the questions and just take a guess to why do you think Death Valley is so dry and sunny. And then we'll go back into the text and then justify our answers. So A, because it's located in California. B, because the mountains block the rain and clouds. C, because once it was 201 degrees Fahrenheit. D, because there's not enough air pressing down on it. So what do you think? Why is that valley so dry and sunny? Just a prediction. All right, now let's look back into the text. And remember, we're looking for this question. Why is Death Valley so dry and sunny? So let's go back into the text and let's see if they talk about it. All right, I'm looking at paragraph 2. Death Valley sits 282 feet below sea level and is surrounded by mountains. The mountains stop almost all rain and clouds from getting to the valley. This lack of rain and clouds causes Death Valley to be very dry and sunny. Also, the air is heavier because more air is pressing down on it, heating it up. Now, boys and girls, did you hear that keywords? Look at this. In the question, it says, why is Death Valley so dry and sunny? And when I read this paragraph to you, it actually used the words dry and sunny. So I'm going to go back to this sentence right here, where it says this lack. This lack of rain and clouds causes Death Valley to be very, very dry and sunny. So what it's saying is they don't have much rain, and they don't have much clouds, so that's why it's dry and sunny. So let's see if that's one of our answer choices. So A, because it's located in California. No, not A. Because the mountains block the rain and clouds. Yeah, I'm going with B. Because once it was 201 degrees Fahrenheit. No, they didn't say that. I mean, that was a detail, but that doesn't answer the question why it's so dry and sunny. And then D, because there's not enough air pressing down on it. And it said the opposite. It said the air is heavier because more air is pressing down on it. So it is answer choice B, because the mountains block the rain and the clouds. And again, the lack of rain and clouds caused Death Valley to be very dry and sunny. And the sentence before it supports that. The mountains stop almost all rain and clouds from getting to the valley. So number 1, we have B. All right, let's look at number 2. Why does Antarctica get so little sunlight? Now, same thing. Let's do a prediction of what we think it is. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to justify our answer by looking back. Why does Antarctica get so little sunlight? So we're thinking about Antarctica, getting very little sunlight. A, it is a continent surrounded by an ocean. B, it is located at the bottom of the earth. C, it is solid rock and covered in ice. D, it is located at the top of the earth. So a lot of times, boys and girls, these questions, you're looking for keywords. So number 2 says, why does Antarctica get so little sunlight? Let's see if we can see if they mention about like so little sunlight, like those keywords. All right, let's look back. Okay, let's look at paragraph 3. The coldest place on Earth is the continent of Antarctica. The lowest temperature ever recorded there was negative 129 degrees Fahrenheit. Because Antarctica is located at the bottom of Earth, it gets very little sunlight. In fact, for 6 months, it is complete darkness. Without sunlight, the ground doesn't have any warmth to soak it up. But even when the sun shines, it stays very cold because most of the continent is solid rock and covered by ice. The sun can't warm it. So again, when I was telling you about those keywords, why does Antarctica get so little sunlight? So when I was reading this, I heard the word so little sunlight. Did you hear it too? Okay. Because Antarctica, right there, is located at the bottom of Earth, it gets very little sunlight. So they're saying choice B is located at the bottom of Earth. The sun doesn't directly hit it as much. And that's why it gets so little sunlight. Awesome. All right. Last one. And this is a short answer response. I love these because you're looking back into the text and you're just finding the answers. Now, when you're writing, make sure you start with a capital letter. You're writing complete thought. Okay. And you're ending with the correct punctuation, either being a period, an exclamation point shows excitement, or a question mark if you're making a question. So it says, give 3 reasons why people don't have permanent homes in Antarctica. Use details from the passage to support your response. So when they're saying use details from the passage, they want you to tell them exactly what the passage said. They don't want you to tell them, what you think it is. You have to find the answers from the text. So 3 reasons why people don't have permanent homes in Antarctica. Now, before we even look into it, you guys want to give me some ideas why you think people don't have permanent homes in Antarctica? Like, we live in Middletown, New York. But why don't people live in Antarctica permanently? All right, let's see if you're right. Let's see. Looking. Okay. I see. Okay. Because it is so cold on Antarctica, very few animals or plants live there. Antarctica is hard to reach. It doesn't have a lot of food or building materials either. Therefore, although scientists may spend months there, people do not make their permanent homes in Antarctica. So it says 3 reasons. So the first reason I would say is, look at the first sentence. Because it's so cold in Antarctica, very few animals or or plants live there. So I would say it is very cold in Antarctica, so plants and animals don't live there. So right off the bat, that's the first one. So it's very cold in Antarctica, so animals and plants don't live there. First sentence. Now, we got to come up with 3 reasons. There's only one. Okay, look at the next sentence. Antarctica is hard to reach. So the next sentence we could write is Antarctica is hard to reach. It's hard to get there. It doesn't have a lot of food or building materials either. So the last one I would say, it doesn't have a lot of food or building materials there. So it's like hard to build a house. And that's how we would get a 4 on that, okay, boys and girls? Hope you enjoyed the story. How hot is hot and how cold is cold. And, this is a story that I want you to read over and over again so you truly understand it. So you can talk about, with your family at dinner tonight, how hot it got in Death Valley. That, on record, they have 201 degrees Fahrenheit as the hottest day there in Death Valley, California. And then you can talk about one of the coldest places, which is Antarctica, which had negative 129 degrees on their coldest day. Okay, I want you guys to not just read this. I want you to understand it, and I want you to be comfortable and enjoy it. So it becomes to, all right, I'm going to answer these questions. I'm going to do a good job. But I'm not going to just be done when this test is over. I'm going to keep this information in my mind and share it with my friends and my family. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you soon.